Tokyo stock prices ended the day above 14,000 for the first time in nearly 5 years. Shares were bought across the board on expectations for a U.S. economic recovery, evidenced by the better-than-expected U.S. jobs statistics released late last week. Just 6 months ago, in mid-November, the Nikkei average was hovering slightly over 8,600. In March, the Nikkei climbed to above 12,000 and kept rising throughout April, hitting 14,000 today. The stock market rally that started in November is having a positive effect on pension savings for many retirees. The Nikkei index closed today at 14,180. This man says this is amazing. He says his stock holdings have returned to profit in the past 3 weeks. And another person says he hopes the stock prices will just keep rising. IT firm SoftBank's president, Masayoshi Son, says the Abenomics is creating a positive effect on the stock markets. He says he hopes the higher stock prices will help boost the sales of SoftBank smartphones. Mitsui Corporation president Masami Iijima says the real economy is starting to move in sync with what's happening on the stock markets. He says things are looking up. This manufacturer of headphones and speakers saw the price of its shares rise by the maximum allowable daily limit today. The company, Foster Electric Company, makes earphones to be used for smartphones. Last Thursday, the company reported a major improvement in its profits for the year through March, thanks to a marked increase in sales of earphones to the United States, which is the company's main market. The company projects a further rise of profits for fiscal 2013. Foster Electric president Yukio Miyata says he never expected that stock prices would rise as much as they have. He says he hopes Japan will finally have a real economic recovery. Since last fall, Tokyo stock prices have been moving nowhere but up. Companies aren't the only ones that have been benefiting from the stock market rally. The stock market rally is having a positive effect on the retirement savings of many people. This organization, which manages corporate pensions for employees of small businesses, has been receiving a lot of inquiries from individual subscribers about payments. The organization manages and invests pension funds that are entrusted from about 360,000 small businesses that find it difficult to create their own pension scheme. The recent rise in stock prices has helped generate a lot of profits for the organization. The organization projects a profit of more than 200 million yen for fiscal 2012, which ended in March. The organization's investment was posting a loss through November, but it turned to positive in December and has stayed that way since then. The stagnant stock markets over the past few years brought the organization into financial difficulties that were so severe that it was considering lowering the promised yield of 1%. But the recent recovery in the stock markets has turned its fortunes for the better. The yield will stay where it is. This investment trust firm provides advice on pensions. Its chief fund manager says many funds will increase their investment in Japanese stocks. Chief Fund Manager Kazuharu Konishi of Mitsubishi UFJ Trust and Banking says he's been receiving a lot of inquiries from customers about where stock prices will move in the future. He says Japanese stocks have kept rising and there are expectations that they will keep rising. He says defined contribution pension plans are likely to invest more in Japanese stocks. We asked an economist where we can expect Tokyo stock prices to go now that they have recovered to the 14,000 level. Yasuhiko Kuramochi is a senior analyst with Mizuho Securities. He says it's likely that corporate performance will improve by mid-year, helped by a weaker yen and an economic recovery overseas. He says it is also possible that if Prime Minister Shinzo Abe can form a stable government after this summer's upper house election, this will be good for the economy. He says it's highly likely that the Tokyo stock prices will hit the 15,000 mark sometime between July and September. Aren't there any negative factors that might cloud Japan's economic prospects? Kuramochi says the difference between now and last year or the year before is that the U.S. economy is staging a recovery on its own now. He says the Japanese economy is also likely to grow significantly from now on thanks to the supplementary budget and other measures. He says he sees a relatively small risk that the Tokyo stock prices will plunge again.
2 months ago, Prime Minister Abe joined us in this program. He said the rise in stock prices is positively working for managing pension funds, and the situation is still continuing. So it's true that we have some positive indicators. The problem is when and how people are going to feel the real economy has improved. We just hope that the recovery reflect in long-term rise in the stock prices.